Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I'm Vikram Oza and here we are at Galeries Lafayette. Now, Galeries Lafayette, of course, takes you to Paris, but this time we are in Mumbai and this is the newest store that has opened for Galeries Lafayette outside of France. They have 55 in Paris and the first one, the flagship, goes all the way back to the 19th century. But now that they are in Mumbai and catering to the Indian retail consumer, how exactly is that luxury consumer going to take to a departmental store experience where they bring together fashion and cosmetics and gastronomy, which is also on the charts? And that's the question we are posing. Can India become the big luxury retail hotspot in Asia? That's what we're asking the management. But first, a quick look at the store. Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. We are questioning exactly where the luxury retail buyer is now heading. Can India become that hotspot or not? And who better than someone who's setting up Galeries Lafayette here in Mumbai? That entire Parisian experience of going to a luxury department store is getting created in Mumbai in Fort. And the people behind it are right here with us. Our Satyajit, of course, heads international brands. He's CEO of international brands at Aditya Birla Retail and Fashion. And of course, we have the CEO of Lafayette Gallery. We are talking to Arthur Lemoyne. Arthur and Satyajit, many congratulations for this store. It looks glorious, but it has really set up several questions in our minds, because here you're talking about luxury retail in a country where it's still at a nascent stage. When you talk about the entire retail experience right now, you're talking about a sector where only 2% is luxury, Satyajit. So when you're talking about this scale, and there is scale over here in this kind of store, what were your expectations when you started out trying to bring in Galeries Lafayette to Mumbai?
Great question. I would like to think, start from our hypothesis, which is really that in India, in this segment, the segment is not growing, not because of a lack of demand, but rather from a lack of supply. If you think about it, over the longest period, we've just had one and now perhaps two luxury malls in all of this country, whereby, and it could be a lot of reasons, but this has really sort of dampened the availability in India.
Right.
And we believe that by solving a part of that problem, we will see greater consumption within India as opposed to shopping abroad. So that was our starting hypothesis to begin with.
So if that is the starting hypothesis, you tell me from your global experience, Arthur, because you're looking at stores and you're looking at increased presence in, I see, Middle East. You've just opened a store in Doha and Asia. Now, in the Asian region, where does India fit into your larger scheme of things? You are trying to find opportunities. You have as many as 65 odd stores now. This is going to be your 66th store in the world, but 55 of the ones you have are already in France. So when you're creating new opportunities for yourself outside France, what exactly are you looking for and how much of that did you find in India?
We think that India has a huge market, clearly, but also has huge opportunities of growth. The luxury market is expected to be multiplied by 3 in the next years, and the number of millionaires in Mumbai is supposed to double in the next year. So we think that we have a huge opportunity of growth in the next years, and it's the reason why we wanted to be the first department store to open in India.
But, here we're talking about an experience. It's a Parisian experience. The flagship store in Paris has this Art Nouveau. It goes all the way back to 1894. It's a 19th century kind of departmental store, which of course has expanded over a period of time. And you're creating art experience, you're creating gastronomy, besides all that shopping. For now, how prepared is the Indian consumer for that kind of experience? Is this going to be trial and error, Satyajit? Because the Indian consumer can be quite fickle.
I don't think it's about being fickle. And when I look at, customers shopping abroad, I see that the young Indian consumer is far more open to new experiences and experiential retail than ever before. Even when you look at Galeries Lafayette, and when I walk the aisles of the store, I find so many Indians shopping there. and it's only been growing over the years. So I think Indians plugged into the global economy, into the global mindset, as it were, of fashion, are open to new experiences, are desirous of these experiences. And we believe that by combining the best of both worlds, both Parisian flair and Indian heritage, I think we can create a brand that is perfectly suited for this kind of customers.
So we are also kind of trying to understand where India fits into this entire luxury retail space around the world. You go to certain destinations for shopping. You go to a Dubai, you go to Singapore, and you mentioned that Indians, when they are abroad, even in a Paris, in a Galeries Lafayette, you see them shopping. But the shopping experience changes when it is in India. Why has that been the case, and what are you trying to change to get more footfall, for one, at Galeries Lafayette here in Mumbai? And then, of course, trying to change that into sales?
No, that's a great question again, and I would like to break that into a couple of parts. I think the DNA of Galeries Lafayette is all about retail meets entertainment, right? So it is about the joy of discovery, of discovering new brands, curated experiences, activations, events, which are meant to engage and entertain the customer. So it is not just a transactional experience where you come and find something that you want and walk out. It's about coming in, experiencing the brands, discovering new brands, new designers. The store is a platform for emerging designers, for established brands, for luxury brands. And therefore, you will be able to find something that relates to you as a customer, as a connoisseur of fashion, which we believe will elevate the time that you spend in the store and the experiences that we will curate, whether it is through invitation-only events or by having creative directors of various brands coming in to talk to our customers, or by holding workshops in the store, or by having curated art events. I think all of these will go a long way in building something which is truly experiential.
So in terms of experiences, and that's the essential part, and perhaps the differentiator as well. When you talk about luxury, it can be as much an experience as much as buying into exclusivity. And one tends to feel with a Galeries Lafayette, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's much more about the experience. Even when you go to Paris, you're going up to the stained glass dome. You are kind of looking at Paris from that kind of view that you get of the entire city. It is an experience in itself. So how much of this store in Mumbai is going to be about the experience or buying into exclusivity, which is essentially what you're in the business of?
Galeries Lafayette, I think, is really a right balance between experience inside the store in terms of architecture, but also in terms of F&B, in terms of culture, in terms of art, but also about discovering products, brands, novelties. And we always try to propose new brands, new products. And I think that here we will propose 270 brands, and 70% will be new brands for India. And it's also our role to let the customers discover these new brands inside our stores.
So this is very interesting because there are certain products that Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail has already kind of gotten into. There are Indian brands as well, like a Sabyasachi, and you're looking at these kind of collaborations, these partnerships that you're getting more and more into. So how does that tie in to a Galeries Lafayette? Because when you're supporting other Indian brands, because Indian luxury today is as much a Sabyasachi and a Tarun Tahiliani, as much as it is about Louis Vuitton and a Dior. So how do you bring that into an Indian experience, an Indian shopping experience through a Galeries Lafayette?
So I think when you talk about the brands that you mentioned or the designers, they are true flag bearers of Indian luxury, right? And Galeries Lafayette is also a place for, like I explained before, a sort of platform for new emerging designers, right? And we have a host of emerging talent, both within the country and outside, who already retail in many famous department stores in London or New York or even in Paris. And therefore this is, to begin with, a platform for this new generation of talent, which will bring in the best of Indian creativity and Western influences. So that's a starting point, and as we go forward, depending upon customer response, customer requests, and demands, we will keep adapting the curation and the offering season to season to season.
So you're saying that some of those brands will be in this store as well. We are going to see some Indian brands, luxury brands. So in a way, we are also trying to kind of position ourselves in that global luxury space. Is that something we're going to see more of?
Yes, I think the adjacencies will definitely position them in the right spirit and the right light. And we hope that this acts as a platform for them to be able to springboard. They are already retailing outside. We are now retailing them in India. And conversely, when there are new designers who will retail here, perhaps this becomes a springboard for them to retail elsewhere.
Right. How do you feel about that, Arthur? Because I don't know if this is the model that you follow elsewhere. Because in every country that you go out of, from France, you are going to have local luxury names as well, I would imagine. And how do you kind of weave them into your own offerings? Because there is a Parisian experience, and there are French brands that you'd want to bring to the world. And there are these local brands, which, of course, we aspire for the longest time, Indian luxury to go out to the world. I don't know how much of that you're open to and how much of that we're going to see here.
When we expand internationally, for us, it's really important to adapt also ourselves to the local country and to the local habits, and also to answer to the attempts of the local customers. So it's really important for us to partner with the right person, and we are really happy to have this partnership with Birla. And also, it's really important to adapt our offer to let the customers discover the French brands, to let the customers discover the international brands, but also to let them discover local brands in order to have the perfect adaptation to the attempts.
So what is the typical profile of a customer who walks into Galeries Lafayette, wherever else in the world, apart from your flagship store, which is a landmark in itself, and every tourist wants to go there, but outside of that, in a store like this one in Mumbai, or other parts of the world, wherever you have Galeries Lafayette, what is the general profile of the customer?
The idea is really to build a community of people who are interested by fashion, by culture, and by art, and who are interested to discover new products and new experiences.
So they are young, and is there a male and female kind of ratio that you look at? I just wanted to get the demographics of the customer in my head sorted for a Galeries Lafayette, and whether that matches with what we're expecting in India as well.
Well, I think, different countries have different demographics. Exactly. Some countries age more. We are a very young country. And as from our previous experience in accessible luxury, we've noticed that the customer is now becoming younger. So we do have offerings in the store for everybody, for every age. I think it's not about age as a demographic, but I think it's more about fashion as a mindset. And
when you talk about fashion as well, Satyajit, I see that there is a lot of curation, and Galeries Lafayette is, of course, a lot about curation. You find that in our Harrods as well. And I see you having done that at the Collective too. And by its very name, it seems like this is the way to go when it comes to luxury retail. So to have multiple brands under one roof and giving that customer the choice, is that the playbook right now for luxury retail?
Yes, to our mind, yes, right. And I think India has sort of skipped, like we skipped from landlines to mobiles. We skipped from having no luxury to directly having luxury brands opening in monobrand stores, whereas the discovery of these brands traditionally in the West happened through department stores, right? And a collection of over 250 brands under one roof across categories allows the customer to be able to discover their sensibilities, their fashion sensibilities, to keep looking for things that allow them to express themselves even more in their everyday life, right? So that's the real purpose of a department store, which is to actually offer customers variety, brands, experiences, and blend it all together under one roof.
And the nature of partnership that exists between a Galeries Lafayette and an Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, I'm quite certain that you'll be pursuing a lot more of these in times to come. But can you explain the kind of partnership that is formed, the kind of synergies that are formed when you go out looking for this? Because you're trying to bring an experience and, of course, a retail experience to India. So in that sense, how do you go about, what is the nature of the partnership?
Well, from a financial structure perspective, the partnership is essentially a license, right? It's a long-term license. But I think it goes beyond that because, that's only the terminology that one uses. But I think it's the values that we share as companies. A 130-year-old legacy meets a 150-year legacy in India, which sort of shows that there is great commitment from both sides to actually build something for the long term. And that, I think, is the starting foundation for this relationship. We are deeply invested in the Indian luxury market in India. And this store that we built is just the emblematic of the collaborative approach that we have undertaken on everything from brand curation to architecture to visual merchandising to staff training. I think all of that speaks volumes about the fact that a close relationship, working together, leveraging each other's strengths, can only act as a multiplier.
So, in passing, what is a customer going to take away once he comes to a Galeries Lafayette in Mumbai? Is it going to be a Parisian experience in Mumbai, or is it going to be more of an Indian aesthetic blended into Parisian thoughts and Parisian themes?
I think it is, to begin with, we have to express the DNA of the brand, Galeries Lafayette. And I think we see that in the architecture, in the choice of brands, in the choice of color palettes. But we also infused a lot of Indian elements into the architecture itself, starting with the cupola, which is emblematic of Galeries Lafayette and Haussmann. It is something that we have attempted, albeit on a smaller scale, but which is its own take from an Indian perspective. We have collaborated with Indian artists to help us bring alive the spirit of Paris, but with an Indian touch across elements and touch points all over the store. So to answer your question, I think it's a blend of both, but customers will take in a truly fashion-forward, curated experience.
We wish you great luck on this journey. And of course, we are going to be watching exactly how the entire experience pans out as the store opens up later this month. But it's the festive time, it's Diwali time. Perhaps the right time, you would think. Arthur, what plans? Since you're in India at a very festive time?
I think it's the perfect time to open this store, and we are really proud and glad of this new opening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ed.
The kind of luxury retail experience that a store of this kind, a Galeries Lafayette, a Parisian experience can bring to a city like Mumbai, that remains to be seen. Will it bring in the consumers, the ones who will spend? And that is the essential question for luxury retail in India as a whole. Where exactly are we on that journey, considering we've been on that road for a long period of time, but now with stores like this, how much further can it be pushed?